Well, I mentioned earlier this morning, one of our favorite things in the holiday season at our household is It's a Wonderful Life on. We put it on every Christmas Eve. And joining us live right now on 1590 WAKR is Joe Fortunato. And Joe is with the Akron Summit County Public Library. He is a film professor from Arizona State and an Akron native. Huge Browns fan, by the way. But Joe is also going to key the main library showing of It's a Wonderful Life coming up on Wednesday. And Joe, talk about this movie. I find it iconic. Obviously, you know a lot about the movie more than I do. But what has made this movie such a sticking point to the holiday season?
Well, first of all, good morning, Ray, and thanks for having me on. Well, I'll tell you one thing. It's an iconic. I totally agree with you. It has the Capra touch, as they used to say. Frank Capra directed, and Frank Capra was known for directing these feel-good classics. Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, also starring Jimmy Stewart, similar things like that. So it has that feel-good aura about it. But I will tell you one thing I think that helped make it the classic that it is today is the fact, and this is sort of the business of show business, is the fact that the copyright ran out on the film in the 70s, and then it became public domain, and it was shown on every station 24 hours a day because it was free throughout the 80s and even to the 90s. And that got rectified, and that's a story I'll tell at Fortunato Film School on Wednesday. But the fact that for a decade or so, for almost a whole generation, it was shown, some might say ad nauseum, on every public station there was, that it just sort of became ingrained in holidays. And now that it's been sort of taken back, the copyright's been taken back, I believe it's NBC that owns the rights now, so they only broadcast it once or twice a year, so it becomes more special. Of course, in this day of DVDs and home video, we all have the opportunity to see it every year, and like you do at your house, we'll do that. Wednesday, we're going to be doing what I call Fortunato Film School, and it's something I started in Arizona, and I'm now bringing it to Ohio since I've moved back, where I'm going to be talking about the film. We're going to be screening the film in its entirety, but I'll be doing live commentary during the film, and then we're going to talk about it sort of like a book club afterwards. So it's a very unique screening that we're doing at the downtown Akron Summit County Public Library on Wednesday at 6:30.
Joe, can you give us a taste of some of the behind-the-scenes story in regards to this movie?
Well, I don't want to give everything away because
Sure.
it's fun. But, it's I call it film school, but it's really fun school. It's, this is designed to be accessible to anybody. You don't have to be a movie buff or anything. It's fun trivia. One of the things that a lot of people, when I do these kinds of things, and by the way, before I forget, we're hoping if this is a successful screening, we'll be doing this as a series next at the library every couple of months with some other classic films. So hopefully everyone will come out and support the program. But a lot of the things that the fans really enjoy is when I point out movie mistakes. And every movie, doesn't matter how good it is, how classic it is, has tons of movie mistakes that were never designed to be seen. They happen so fast, but now in the day and age of DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff, we can pause and pick it apart. There's just as a silly piece of silliness, there's a scene where Jimmy Stewart is walking across the street there in Bedford Falls, and he's approached by a man. One cut later, the man becomes a woman and walks to the other side of the street. I'm guessing as many times as you've seen that, you've never noticed that before.
I have not, no.
And I'll point that out. Other kinds of things might involve production, such as the fact that even though they're all shivering and cold there in Bedford Falls and the snow is coming down heavy, that was actually all shot in very hot July weather. So everyone was sweating. It was very warm and hot in the LA region. And yet, through movie magic, we believe it's cold.
Obviously, Joe, you know the history of this movie and the behind the scenes. Did they realize, going back in time with this movie, Jimmy Stewart and the whole cast, what they were putting together at that point?
No, not really. It's pretty common, I think, with a lot of classics that we think of as classic today, is that initially were not revered in that way, or they were not seen as hugely successful. This movie was mildly successful. It wasn't a flop by any stretch, but it certainly wasn't the iconic film that we look at today.
Okay, so go over the parameters for tonight, Joe. What time does everything start?
Well, it's Wednesday night.
Oh, I'm sorry, Wednesday. Yeah.
So make sure Wednesday night we start at 6:30. And by the way, this event is free, so there's no cost to attend, and parking is free at the library after 6. So free parking, free screening, free fun and education. You really can't miss. It's at the Akron Summit County Public Library. That's at 60 South High Street in Akron. So at 6:30 we'll start. I'll spend about 5 minutes kind of introducing the film, tell a little bit of backstory on the production of it and the history of it, and then we'll start screening. And I'll do live commentary where I'll pause and stop and use a laser pointer and such. And I want to caution those filmmakers out there that it's not an obnoxious way. We're not ruining the film. It'll be, for those who've never seen the film, they should still come out and see it because they'll still enjoy it. For those who've seen it a dozen times like yourself, you're going to learn something and appreciate it even more. So it's really designed for everybody. Then after we do the live screen or the live commentary, we'll take a real short break. And for those who want to stay, we'll have a discussion, question and answer discussion, like a book club. That's how it'll play out.
Sounds fabulous and certainly great movie. So check that out Wednesday night at the Akron Summit County Public Library. Joe, thanks for getting up with us and coming on with us. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Ray.
There you go. Joe Fortunato with us. And again, that's happening Wednesday night at the Akron Summit County Public Library. And you heard Joe mention at the main library downtown Akron, it is all free. 11 minutes in front of 10 o'clock, 1590 WAKR.